The ultimatum. The massive warship emerged from hyperspace like a predator breaking through dark water. Supreme Overlord Krexval stood at the command deck of the Dominator, his 6 eyes surveying the blue marble that floated peacefully in the void. Earth, such a small, insignificant world in the grand scheme of the Zarathian Empire's 1,000-year conquest, yet it possessed something the Empire desperately needed. Vast deposits of tritanium ore buried deep beneath its oceans. Krexval's scaled hide rippled with satisfaction as his fleet materialized around him. 500 warships, each capable of reducing continents to ash. The humans below had detected them, of course. Their primitive satellites and telescopes were already tracking the armada's approach. Good. Let them see their doom approaching. Fear made conquest so much easier. The Supreme Overlord had studied the intelligence reports about this species called humanity. They were a young race, barely 2 centuries into their industrial age. They still fought among themselves over resources and ideologies. Their most advanced weapons were nuclear devices that would barely dent Zarathian shields. They had not even colonized their own moon properly, let alone achieved faster-than-light travel. This would be the easiest conquest of his career. His second-in-command War Marshal Thektar approached with a data tablet. The linguistic algorithms had finished analyzing Earth's communications. They had identified over 7,000 languages, though a handful seemed dominant. These humans could not even agree on how to speak to each other. How could they possibly mount a unified defense? Krexval activated the communication array. The message would broadcast on every frequency the humans used, in every major language simultaneously. He had given this speech 43 times before to 43 different worlds. All had surrendered or been destroyed. Earth would be no different. Inhabitants of the planet you call Earth, his voice boomed across the electromagnetic spectrum. I am Supreme Overlord Krexval of the Zarathian Empire. Your world has been claimed for the glory of our civilization. You have 1 rotation of your planet to surrender unconditionally, disarm all weapons, cease all resistance, and prepare for integration into our empire. Those who comply will be allowed to serve. Those who resist will be eliminated. You have seen our fleet. You know you cannot win. Choose wisely. The message ended and Krexval settled into his command throne to wait. Usually, the panic started immediately. Governments would fall, populations would riot, and within hours, someone would send a desperate plea for mercy. He had allocated 1 Earth day out of respect for protocol, but he expected surrender within 6 hours at most. 3 hours passed, then 6, then 12. The communication channels from Earth remained surprisingly organized. There was no mass panic visible from orbit. Cities continued functioning. Traffic moved normally. Most bizarre of all, the humans seemed to be going about their regular daily activities. Some were even gathering in public spaces, not in fear, but in what appeared to be determination. War Marshal Thektar reported increased military activity, but it followed strange patterns. Human forces were not massing for defense of major cities, as expected. Instead, they were dispersing into smaller units, moving equipment into mountains and forests. Aircraft were being hidden in caves. Naval vessels were submerging and scattering across the oceans. It made no tactical sense. Finally, exactly 23 hours and 59 minutes after the ultimatum, a response came. A single transmission from what the humans called the United Nations. The speaker identified herself as Secretary General Maria Santos. Her voice was calm, almost casual. Supreme Overlord Krexval, on behalf of the 8 billion humans of Earth, I have been asked to deliver our official response to your demands. We appreciate the advance notice. It gave us time to finish our preparations. Our answer is simple. Come and get it. Krexval's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of confusion among his species. He had the message repeated, certain there was a translation error. But no. The humans had essentially told the most powerful armada in the galaxy to come fight them. They had not even attempted negotiation. The Supreme Overlord's confusion turned to rage. These primitives dared mock the Zarathian Empire? They would learn the price of such arrogance. He ordered the fleet to begin orbital bombardment positions. They would start with military installations, then major cities, if surrender did not come quickly. As the fleet moved into attack formation, something unexpected happened. Thousands of small objects launched from Earth's surface. They were not missiles or spacecraft, but simple metal cylinders fired from magnetic rail systems, primitive kinetic weapons that should have been useless against Zerathian shields. The defensive systems did not even bother engaging such crude projectiles. They impacted harmlessly against the shields, breaking apart into clouds of debris. Krexval almost laughed. Was this truly Earth's best defense? Metal slugs against energy shields? Then the tactical officer reported something odd. The debris from the destroyed projectiles was not dispersing as it should. Instead, it was spreading along the shield boundaries, forming a thin layer of metallic dust. Within minutes, every ship in the fleet was surrounded by a glittering cloud of particles. The humans launched a second wave of projectiles, then a third. Each impact added more dust to the cloud surrounding the Zerathian vessels. It was annoying but seemingly harmless. Krexval ordered the bombardment to proceed as planned. The main guns of his flagship charged, preparing to turn New York into a crater, as an example. That was when the dust clouds ignited. Not with fire, but with electromagnetic energy. The metallic particles, each one a microscopic capacitor, discharged simultaneously. The combined electromagnetic pulse did not damage the ships directly, but it did something far worse. It resonated at the exact frequency of Zerathian shield harmonics, causing them to fluctuate and fail for exactly 2.7 seconds. In those 2.7 seconds, the humans launched their real attack. Missiles that had been hidden in underground silos, disguised, cargo ships and even civilian aircraft fired as one. Not nuclear weapons, but something far more precisely engineered. Penetrator warheads designed to punch through Zerathian hull material, followed by payloads of self-replicating nanobots, programmed to consume specific alloys used in alien technology. The first Zerathian ship to die was a destroyer on the fleet's periphery. The nanobots ate through its hull in seconds, spreading like metallic cancer through every system. The crew had no time to react before their ship simply dissolved around them, leaving them to die in the vacuum of space. Then another ship fell, and another. Krexval watched in horror as his invincible armada began to crumble. The humans had somehow known exactly how to defeat Zerathian technology. They had prepared specific countermeasures for shields that should have been beyond their understanding. They had developed weapons that targeted the exact weaknesses of ships they had never seen before. The Supreme Overlord's tactical display showed more launches from Earth. These were not weapons, but small, craft barely large enough for a single pilot, human fighter craft, modified with salvaged technology from somewhere. They swarmed the larger Zerathian vessels like insects, too small and numerous for the capital ship weapons to target effectively. Each fighter carried more of those damned nanobots, delivering them directly to vulnerable points. Through the chaos, that same calm human voice returned on the communication channel. Secretary General Santos spoke as if discussing weather, not the destruction of a stellar empire's fleet. Supreme Overlord, you seem surprised. Did you think we had not noticed your scouts these past 5 years? Did you think we would not prepare? Humanity has a saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We hoped you would pass us by, but we prepared for war. The reckoning, Krexval's mind reeled as he processed what the human had just revealed. Scouts? The Zerathian Empire had sent scout ships through this sector 5 years ago, but they had been using advanced stealth technology. No primitive species had ever detected them before, yet somehow these humans had not only noticed but had used that time to prepare specific countermeasures. The tactical situation was deteriorating rapidly. A third of his fleet was already gone, consumed by the spreading nanobot plague. The remainder were fighting desperately, but their weapons were designed for conventional warfare against energy shields and armor plating. They had no defense against microscopic machines that ate through their ships like acid. War Marshal Thektar suggested retreating to regroup, but Krexval's pride would not allow it. No Zerathian fleet had ever retreated from primitives. He ordered all remaining ships to initiate emergency protocols, superheating their hulls to destroy the nanobots. It worked, but at a cost. The extreme temperatures damaged their own systems and exhausted enormous amounts of energy. During this moment of vulnerability, the humans revealed their next surprise. Ships began rising from Earth's oceans. Not spacecraft, but submarines modified with anti-gravity technology. Anti-gravity technology that looked suspiciously Zarathian in design. The implications hit Krexval like a physical blow. Somewhere, somehow, the humans had captured and reverse-engineered Zarathian technology. The submarine spacecraft were crude compared to true Zarathian vessels, but they were effective. They attacked in wolf packs, using tactics that seemed to anticipate every Zarathian maneuver. It was as if the humans had studied recordings of every space battle the Empire had ever fought and developed counters to standard Zarathian doctrine. Through his command ship sensors, Krexval detected massive energy signatures from Earth's surface. The humans were powering up something big, multiple somethings, across every continent. Enormous facilities that had been disguised as industrial complexes revealed their true purpose. They were planetary defense cannons, each one capable of firing focused particle beams into orbit. The first beam lanced out from what had appeared to be a solar panel farm in Nevada. It struck a Zarathian battlecruiser amidships, cutting through its weakened shields like they were not there. The massive vessel split in half, spilling atmosphere and bodies into space. More beams followed from hidden installations worldwide: Australia, Siberia, the Sahara, Antarctica. The humans had turned their entire planet into a weapons platform, but the greatest shock was yet to come. As Krexval watched his fleet burn, new contacts appeared on the edge of the solar system. Ships dropping out of hyperspace. Human ships. True human warships that had been hiding in deep space, waiting for this moment. They were built using a hybrid of human and stolen Zarathian technology, crude but numerous. The human fleet was commanded by someone calling himself Admiral Chen. His face appeared on Krexval's communication screen, the first human the Supreme Overlord had seen directly. The human's expression was not one of fear or anger, but determination mixed with something else. "Pity, Supreme Overlord Krexval," Admiral Chen said. "I'm authorized to offer you terms for surrender. Your fleet is broken. Your invasion has failed. But we humans believe in mercy, even for those who would show us none. Surrender now, and your surviving crews will be treated according to our Geneva Convention. Continue fighting, and we will be forced to demonstrate why humanity has survived every challenge our planet has thrown at us for 200,000 years. Krexval's rage overcame his reason. Surrender? To primitives? Never. He ordered his remaining ships to concentrate all fire on Earth itself. If he could not conquer this world, he would destroy it. Every weapon in the Zarathian fleet that still functioned turned toward the blue planet and fired. The barrage should have been devastating. Hundreds of antimatter warheads, particle beams, and plasma bombs rained down on Earth, but they never reached the surface. A shield appeared around the planet, an energy barrier that had been hidden until this moment. The weapons exploded harmlessly against it, creating a light show visible from Mars but causing no damage to Earth itself. The humans had built a planetary shield. That should have been impossible for a species at their technological level. It would have required decades of preparation, enormous resources, and the cooperation of every nation on Earth. Yet they had done it secretly, while maintaining the illusion of a divided, primitive world. Secretary General Santos spoke again, her voice carrying a harder edge now. 3 years ago, when we detected your scout ships, humanity faced a choice. We could have continued our petty squabbles and faced extinction divided. Instead, we chose unity. Every nation, every resources, every scientist and engineer on Earth worked together for one purpose: survival. You united us in a way we could never have achieved on our own. For that, we thank you. The battle turned into a slaughter. Human fighters swarmed the remaining Zarathian ships while the planetary defense cannons picked off the larger vessels. The nanobots continued their relentless consumption of alien hulls. Within an hour, only Krexval's flagship remained, protected by its massive bulk and redundant systems, but slowly being eaten away. War Marshal Tektar was dead, killed when the bridge took a direct hit from a human particle beam. Most of the command crew was gone. Krexivol stood alone at his station, watching the end of everything he had known. The Zarathian Empire's greatest fleet, destroyed by a species that had not even achieved faster than light travel on their own. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the screen one final time. "Supreme Overlord, this is your last chance. Surrender. There's no shame in losing to a superior force." Superior force. The words stung because they were true. Not superior in technology or numbers, but in something else. The humans had shown ingenuity, adaptability, and most of all, unity of purpose. They had taken inferior resources and through cleverness and determination, had achieved the impossible. Krexivol reached for the self-destruct control. If he was going to die, he would take as many humans with him as possible. But his hand never reached the button. A transport beam enveloped him, pulling him off his dying ship. He materialized in what was clearly a human vessel, surrounded by armed soldiers in powered armor. Admiral Chen stood before him in person. The human was smaller than Krexivol had expected, but there was steel in his eyes. "The Zarathian Empire needs to know what happened here," Chen said. "You're going to carry that message back to them. Earth is off limits. Humanity is not prey. We are not resources to be harvested. We are not subjects to be conquered. Come in peace, and we will trade as equals. Come in war, and we will end you." The Supreme Overlord wanted to speak, to rage, to threaten. But looking into the eyes of these humans, he saw something that chilled him. They were not afraid. They had never been afraid. From the moment his fleet had arrived, they had been executing a plan years in the making. Every move he had made they had anticipated. Every strength of his fleet they had found a counter for. "You knew," Krexivol said finally. "You knew exactly how to beat us." Admiral Chen nodded. "Your scouts 5 years ago were not as stealthy as you believed. We captured one. The crew did not survive the crash, but the computer systems did. We learned about your empire, your technology, your tactics, and we prepared. Every nation on Earth contributed. Every scientist worked on the problem. Every factory produced weapons. We turned our entire civilization into a weapon aimed at anyone who would threaten our freedom." The human gestured to a view screen showing the wreckage of the Zarathian fleet. "Your empire has conquered hundreds of worlds, but you've never faced a species like us. We evolved on a death world, Supreme Overlord. Every day of our existence has been a fight for survival against predators, diseases, disasters, and each other. That struggle made us strong, made us clever, made us dangerous. And when threatened from outside, it made us united." Krexivol was placed in a small scout ship, barely functional but capable of hyperspace travel. As he prepared to leave to carry the message of defeat back to an empire that had never known such humiliation, Admiral Chen had one final message. "Tell your empire that Earth extends an offer of peace. We have no interest in conquest or revenge, but we will defend ourselves with everything we have, and as you've seen, what we have is the will to survive at any cost. That is humanity's greatest weapon, not our technology or our numbers, but our absolute refusal to yield." As Krexivol's ship jumped to hyperspace, leaving the Sol system behind, Earth's defensive fleet stood ready. The planetary shield shimmered in the sunlight. Hidden weapons remained trained on the stars. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy not as victims or conquerors, but as survivors. The war had lasted less than 6 hours. The preparation had taken 5 years. The message would echo across the galaxy for centuries. Earth stood unconquered. Humanity would bow to no one. In the aftermath, as the debris of the Zarathian fleet was collected and studied, humanity prepared for what would come next. They knew others would come, drawn by curiosity or greed or fear. But humans would be ready. They had tasted victory against impossible odds. They had proven that unity and determination could overcome any threat. The stars no longer seemed so vast and threatening. They were full of possibilities of potential allies and enemies. But whatever came, humanity would face it together, unbowed and unbroken. They had evolved on a death world, survived their own worst impulses, and defeated a galactic empire. They were ready for anything the universe could throw at them. Earth had given its answer to those who would demand its submission. That answer would be remembered across the galaxy as the day humanity said no